कुछ नया क्रम है। आज ज्ञानशाला का हमारा लास्ट दिन है, फिर समर की छुट्टियां हैं, वैकेशन है, तो बच्चों के एग्जाम्स भी हो रहे हैं, ऊपर तो बच्चों के एग्जाम्स हो रहे हैं और कुछ बच्चे एग्जाम्स आप लोगों के बीच में देंगे, तो आप लोग स्वयं देखेंगे कि बच्चों ने क्या सीखा, कैसे सीखा और बच्चे कैसे अपना टैलेंट आपके सम्मुख रखते हैं। तो उसकी बात अब आलोक जी संभाल रहे हैं, तो मैं मंच आलोक जी को दे रही हूँ।
आप सोच तो रहे होंगे कि भाई ज्ञानशाला की बात समझी जी ने की, तो आलोक तो सामने क्यों खड़ा किया? स्वाभाविक है सवाल आपके दिमाग में, मेरे दिमाग में ये सवाल आया था और मुझसे कहा गया कि आप इसको शुरू करोगे, इसलिए मैं आपके सामने खड़ा हूँ। जैसा कि आपने इस प्रोग्राम के बारे में जब ईमेल आई तो उसमें पढ़ा होगा कि आज का प्रोग्राम में एक प्रोजेक्ट के बारे में बात की जाएगी। इससे पहले कि मैं उस प्रोजेक्ट के बारे में आपको कुछ बताऊं, ये कहना चाहूँगा कि भाई क्योंकि ये आज ज्ञानशाला का आखिरी दिन है, बच्चों के इम्तहान चल रहे हैं, साल खत्म होने को आया है, तो ज्ञानशाला की सक्सेस में बहुत से लोगों का हाथ रहता है। ये साहब की बात आप बहुत अच्छी तरह से जानते हो। सबसे बड़ा हाथ उसमें संदीप जी का है, ज्ञानशाला कोऑर्डिनेटर्स का है, ज्ञानशाला टीचर्स का है। पर चूंकि आज के प्रोग्राम में हम इस प्रोजेक्ट की बात करेंगे, तो हम उन सब टीचर्स को, उन कोऑर्डिनेटर को, उनकी उतनी एक्नॉलेजमेंट और प्रशंसा नहीं कर पाएंगे जैसे कि हमको करनी चाहिए। इस वजह से उसके लिए we will choose another time. But at least for today, we would like to recognize those students who have been regular attendees of Gyanshala this year. So to recognize them, let me invite Sarika and ask her to come and recognize those students who have been.
Maybe Sharika's taking an exam.
Okay.
हाँ, आलोक जी एक तो हो जाएगा, हो सकता है कुछ बाकी रह गया एग्जाम देना में, तो आप वो शुरू कर देते हैं।
उससे पहले वंदामी नमस्कार संदीप जी, जय जिनेंद्र एवरीबॉडी। While Sarika is coming, she is taking the exams ऊपर and बच्चे आ रहे हैं, we are getting ready for the project. I just wanted to give the announcements. June 8th को is our
Preksha had a vision, and her vision was that the senior students of Gyanshala from JVB who are about to go to college should be taught a class based on Jainism principles that would help them in their future life. Sandhi ji also wanted the students to be given a project so that they can work together on that project, and at the end of the year they can present it to the community. With that vision, Sandhi ji asked me if I would be interested in accepting that assignment. And I decided to take that assignment on, and the project was born. Let me tell you up front, if you don't like the projects, if you don't like what you hear, blame me. If you like it, then praise the children and the Sandhi. So in the project, we started with basically 4 students at the beginning, at the start of the year. They were Ruchika, Ashish, Ruchika, Suvi, Anusha and Akshay. These were the 4 students we started with. And then we expanded the group to include Neha, Ashish, Uday, Anya and Rashu. And then there were enough students here to divide them into 3 groups. And the groups were formed so that the senior students also had in the group some junior students so they could guide them along. So 3 groups were formed. Not in any particular order. In one group we have Ruchika, Rashu and Uday. In another group we have Anusha, Anya and Suvi. And in the third group we have Akshay, Neha and Ashish. So during the course of the year, helping me with this project, a big hand was given to me in this project by Kajal. So Kajal played a very critical role. So while we talk, I would talk to the students about what Jainism is, at least my interpretation of it, however little I know about the subject. Now I will try and answer the questions that they would raise in the class. And then after a few classes it happened, we designed a project. And the project was designed in such a way that the groups would be answering 3 questions. The first question was, what is Jainism? At least in their eyes, what is their understanding of Jainism? The second question was, what Jainism is not? And the third question was, based on their understanding of what Jainism is or Jainism is not, what have they learned here during their time in the Gyanshala that they would be taking along with them that has impacted their life enough to guide them in the future as they confront life from this point forward. So these 3 groups, in their own way, without any support from either myself or Kajal, did their research and whatever we talked about in the class and designed the presentations in their own way. And they will be here sharing that presentation with you, and you will see different styles and different techniques that they are going to use. The only thing I ask is I encourage you to kindly listen very, very carefully, be participative because they will probably involve you. So when they do, kindly do respond as they do. And then let us see how it goes. So without further ado, let me invite the first group. And the first group I'd like to invite is Ruchika, Rashu and Uday.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ruchika, this is Uday, and that's Rashu. And today, hopefully, we're going to teach you a little bit about Jainism. You've been coming to a lot of lectures, and you've been listening to Samiji for a very long time. However, today we want to give you a slightly different approach. First, we're going to try to test and see what you have picked up over the years and see if you actually have retained it. And so, hopefully, you enjoy our presentation.
JVB, everyone. So first we want to thank Alokika and Kajal, Jane, for helping us and giving us opportunity to present. And before I start, I want to see a show of hands of how many of you guys think you know more than us about Jainism.
You know more.
So come on. Only one person. No one else.
What is it? No more than them.
So how many of you guys know more than us about Jainism? No one. Okay, and we're going to start with this an activity, and Roshan is going to number you guys, and then you guys need to split into groups. Okay, so
one team is going to be all the ladies, and then one team will be
all the
Simple group.
And so 2 teams.
Well, this is exam for you or exam for us?
You party.
So we're going to start with Jeopardy, and which side wants to be team 1?
Ladies first.
Ladies first. Okay, so ladies first, and then. Okay, so it's a Jeopardy game. Let's see who goes first. So You guys choose which one you want to do. Mood meter, passion, soul, 5 marks, or philosophy. And then for each category, you can choose if you want more points or less points. And they're based on hardness. So the 50 will be harder than the 10.
5 marbles. 50.
50. 5 marbles. 50. So, moms give up all attachments to discuss it. So, choose one person who will give you the answer. I can't have like half of you guys giving me one answer. Half of you guys giving me one answer.
Monks give up all attachment towards.
Worldly things.
Philosophy,
No,
50?
point.
50 points. Let's go for the whole point.
Is Jainism a branch of Hinduism or Buddhism?
Neither.
Neither. No. Lots of people think that Jainism is a branch of Hinduism, but it's not well known. It's just a branch of Buddhism or Hinduism. So we just wanted to see if you guys knew that.
Okay.
Philosophy 40?
No. Hold on. Soul 50.
Soul 50.
So,
What are the qualities of the soul? 50? How can we control our negative reactions?
let it go.
Just watch the thing. Meditation.
That's it. Meditation?
Preksha meditation.
The adoption of the Jain principles can help us control it.
So 0.
0.
That's the negative emotion right there.
Okay, passion 50.
Passions 50.
Hold on. As long as person
Karma.
But you said either 0 or no. Then how can you override your rule?
Well, he's a judge.
It's 50. Samniji said that to give them it.
Please answer to her.
Come on, don't be jealous. No, choose an answer. Choose one.
Let's go.
It's already done. Okay, you're doing 40 Maharaj. What does the second Maharaj?
That was
They already said it. They said it before.
Okay.
40.
Soul 40.
Soul 40. One is added
in English.
Discipline.
use all kind of language.
Jain language in charge.
Right conduct. The way back. The same thing. Same thing. 40. There's no more 50. What are you going to do now?
Fatafat
You
logo.
have mood meter, passion, or soul. No, sorry, or philosophy, 40. Philosophy, 40. The universe is made up of what the Jains call the... It's called Dravya. 6 Dravyas.
That is called full point.
That is called full. Exactly.
But you didn't say 6 dravya, you just said dravya.
Okay. Passion.
4 passions. How many types of passion are there? Shaya. 4.
नाम बताइए.
Yay!
They didn't name them.
No.
You didn't have to. Mood meter 40. React, blank, increase, blank. There's 2 words.
What's the question?
React, blank, increase, blank. So you have 1 word that goes into the first blank and 1 word that goes into the second blank. You guys can.
But it could be anything. This question could be anything.
But we're doing what Jainism is. So,
Yeah. I mean, it could be anything. But then it could be anything. आधा point दे दो यार.
you got 20. You get 20.
See, मैंने आप लोगों
I
को
think it's already done.
next.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, all of the 40s are done. That's all 50. 30 Mahabharata. Which of the 4 Mahabharatas is the most important?
I think this question is
Ahimsa.
ऊपर लिखा है.
Ahimsa. Let's see. You have 30 mood meter, 30 passions, 30 souls, 30 philosophy. Is Jainism the same for everyone?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. 100% positive. Yes. Okay. No. It's different for everyone. She'll do that later. And when her thing comes, she'll do that. Okay. So last 2 questions for both groups. Passions 30. What are the 4 passions called in Hindi? Yes.
What are the 4 passions called in Hindi?
The passions were on there before. Greed, anger, Last question. What are you guys doing? 30 smooth souls. 30 souls. What does Jainism mean?
अंदर के दिल को नमस्कार करते हैं. No, I know. अपने अंदर के दिल को जो नमस्कार करते हैं वो जय जिनेंद्र.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so the winner is team 1. Team 1. And now you can learn what you made mistake. Now it's your time to.
Wow, 320. You guys are 180.
principles is doing something but not understanding why you did it. For example, if you tell someone not to cheat on a test, even though you don't completely understand why you said it, you go to school to improve your knowledge.
Listen, see properly.
Okay.
Or take another mic. Put it in. Lapel mic.
Ask me later.
School to improve your knowledge. If you cheat, you are the sufferer to cheat. It is bad to be dishonest because the purpose of the exam is to learn the subject, not pass it. You are being dishonest with yourself, your parents, and your teachers. It only makes you the sufferer. Jainism is not the same for everyone. Everyone acts differently. They all have different belief systems, and their religion and philosophy is thought of differently. Some people feel that Jainism is just going to the temple. Now you see your mistake? You understand? Jainism is not God giving you everything. That depends on your karma. Jains believe in God, but it is a different concept. They believe you are the God. It is within you. For example, if someone asks if we believe in God, and if so, what religion are we? We reply by saying, we believe there is infinite gods, because we are Jain. They will think we are crazy, but Jainism believes there is a God in everyone. This is it. Jainism is not a branch of Hinduism. People think that it's a branch of Hinduism, but it is not. It is different than Hinduism. The concept is different. So those were the main important ones, and then these are the ones that I'm not going to explain in depth, but these are other stuff that Jainism is not. Jainism is also not memorizing principles. And Jainism is not bondage to material things. Jainism is not rash action. Jainism is not a changing soul. Jainism does not say only a few can become God. It is also not only being vegetarian and following non-violence. There is much more to it. And also, Jainism, you're not Jain just because your last name is Jain. You can be Jain with any last name, even if you have the last name Jain.
They explained a little bit of what Jainism is through the game. Like, you got a little gist of what some of the basic principles are. And then Preksha just gave you kind of an overview of what Jainism isn't and what many of the common misconceptions are. But you can get that out of any lecture. What we're here to do today is how you can take what we were teaching you, or what are the little things you picked up, and how can you apply it in your life, and how can you bring change. Like, many people can come to JVB, listen to a lecture, but not get anything out of it. Because the number one thing you have to do is okay, so for example, one of the main things we do a lot of times in life is how we react to other people and their negativity towards us. For example, beforehand, if someone was to say something mean to you, or to any one of us, we used to act really rashly. We would get mad, and we would feel a lot of negative thoughts towards the person. However, after going through Jainism, we have to understand that it's not just what that person is doing at that time. We have to understand that the soul inherently is pure. It's sometimes that the thinking is misguided, or the thinking itself is wrong. It's not that the person needs to put harm onto you or make you feel bad. We have to understand that many times there's a lot of situational factors that must be taken into account. And we shouldn't just get mad, rather we should look at things from the other person's perspective. And instead of just randomly reacting negatively back towards the person because they said something mean to us, we should first think thoughtfully and try to understand before doing something that we would later regret. Another thing that a lot of things has been like a great problem in life today is stress. We all go to school, we feel stressed. There's a lot of work, even at a job or anything. But we have to understand, and as a result of this, we get angry sometimes. Like, for example, if we come back from school and we have a lot of homework and we have 3 tests, and then our moms tell us to do something, we get really mad. Or if our siblings ask us for help or try to want to play with us, we just get mad. And we're like, no, go away. And this is actually not because they did anything wrong to us. This is just a misplaced anger under stress. We have to understand that these are people who are trying to help us. And rather than, again, just acting rashly and wrong, we must take into account what these people are actually trying to do for us. we need to be more aware of our mood meter. Many times during the day, we get really stressed during certain parts because this is a time when there's a lot of tests, or we're at school, or there's a lot of job pressures. Some NIJIs are aware of their surroundings 90% of the time, and that's why they're able to be so calm and happy. If we want to be happy in life, we have to understand that we need to control our mood, and we need to take it through adopting yoga and meditation techniques. We can do this. Again, like, if we come to JVB every Sunday and do yoga for 30 minutes here, but we don't continue to do this and we don't apply it every day in our lives, we're not going to get the benefits of that. Before, a lot of us, we used to just come to Gyanshala, learn whatever we needed to, memorize it for the test, and then be done. But we have to understand that Jainism is inherently a way of life. We cannot expect to get any benefits out of Jainism or whatever we learn at JVB just by coming here every Sunday for a couple of hours and doing it and then forgetting it. We have to make it a part of who we are, and that's how Jainism will be able to help us. So what we want you to take out of this whole thing today is that Jainism is a way of life, and to transform our lives, we have to adopt this belief. If we do not make it a part of who we are, if we're not something that we're practicing every day in our lives, we're not actually going to be able to see any change. I used to go to many debate tournaments, and before going to them, I used to practice a lot of hours and put in a lot of efforts during the week. However, whenever I got to the tournament, if I lost, I would get really angry and upset. And I would think that, oh, the judge was wrong, or I didn't get a good topic. But I have to understand that the other people there were also working just as hard as me. If I practiced for 3 hours, maybe they practiced for 5 hours. You have to understand that there's a lot of environmental and situational factors that we must take into account in any situation before just acting irrationally. So basically, Jainism is a way of life, and if we want to see any benefits or we want to transform our lives, we must adopt this one idea.
Let's give him a round of applause. That's phenomenal. Thank you very much. The second group I would like to invite is Anusha, Anya, and Subi. Again, the same question. It's their own unique approach of how they chose to handle it. So let's listen to the second group.
I'm sorry, Anusha couldn't be here today. She's an Ohio school-related tournament, so that's the reason she's not here.
The previous group has basically told you everything we're going to do, but we're going to give it present it in a different way. So, Jainism by Anya, Anusha, and me. So, what exactly is Jainism?
Jaijanindra. We say Jaijanindra to other people because we are bound down to the God within them. Every being has the capability to become God through the path of liberation. So we can acknowledge the fact that everyone can become God.
And the 4 passions. The other group has touched on this, but to give more information, it's anger, ego, deceit, and greed. And the 4 passions occur because of our mood meter. And it's based on what we look at events in our lives. And all of the passions come from our mindset, and we must overcome these passions so we can lead a highly spiritual life.
The 6 dravyas. The 6 dravya means the substances of entity. All 6 dravyas must be present in order for anything to happen. The entire universe consists of these 6 substances.
And the 6 dravyas are categorized into 2 groups, Jeev and Ajeev. Jeev is the Atma, soul, and spirit, and it has all the qualities of the other 5 dravyas, and it always remains constant. And the other 5 dravyas are categorized into Ajeev. The first one is Dharmastikaya, which is the medium of motion, which keeps things flowing. And Adharmastikaya, which is the medium of rest, which is the exact opposite. And Akastikaya, which means space. And Kal, which means time. And Putkalastikaya, which means matter.
The fourth ethics. All forms of existence are important. They, which are the gods who deliberated soul. Manusha, which are the human beings. Siryach, which are the plants and animals, and Nana, which are the hellish beings. The things you do in your life and the karma you find will determine which guidance you will be put in for your next life.
देव ने लिबरेटेड सोल कैसे? देव तो बॉडी में है। देव का डेफिनेशन वाज नॉट ऑल। That's okay. I mean, just correct.
Continue. Let's not get.
And then we have non-violence and non-attachment, which are two major principles of Jainism. And non-violence also ties into vegetarianism. And the follower of Jainism not only refrain from non-violence, but we have to refrain from the three types: physical, mental, and verbal. Even thinking something negative is wrong. And non-violence encompasses abstaining from injuries to all living beings, which include plants and animals. And non-attachment means doesn't only mean limiting one's possessions. You have to limit your desires too, which is the key point. And non-attachment will lead to the purification of your soul or emotion.
Vegetarianism. Vegetarianism isn't just not eating meat. There's so much more to it than that. Jains believe in not harming any living objects to the farthest extent that we can. Vegetarianism is the practice of peace and enhancement, of cooperating coexistence.
And now we move on to what Jainism is not. So Jainism is not just doing the correct thing. We also have to believe it in our thoughts, words, and actions. It's not good to think like anything against what we believe in. We try to be the best that we can. And Jainism does also not believe in a single God. We feel as if God is within you, and there are an infinite number of gods in the universe. And we try to achieve the qualities of God within ourselves. And everyone has a capability of becoming God, but what you do determines whether you can attain any characteristics of God.
More on what Jainism is not. Jainism is not dogmatic principles. You need to understand the religion you follow, otherwise there really is no point. Don't practice a religion because someone like your parents tell you to do so. If you don't do it with your heart, there is no point. Memorizing the principles is not the correct way to follow Jainism. Understanding the principles and applying them to your life is the beneficial way to uphold your religion.
And lastly, Jainism is not a branch of Hinduism or Buddhism. It's a common misconception that many people have. And Jainism is its own religion. We follow like completely different beliefs. On the outside, it looks like all three of them have many similarities. But if you go deeper within each religion, you realize that, in fact, there's nothing similar.
So now we're going to do what Jainism means to us.
And for me, coming to JVB has changed my perspective on many things that I've looked at in my life. Going to Alok's class and learning all the stuff that has been presented to you has really helped me in school, because I'm always stressed about school. High school is definitely not easy, and there's always work to do when you come home with your parents and everything. But then coming to Alok's class made me realize that my reaction is what will help me when I am faced with a problem. All the actions that are happening to us are bound to happen, but it's our reaction that will really matter. So Alok's class has taught me to react a positive way. And since then, I've changed my perspective of things, and I don't stress out as much anymore. I work systematically, and my reactions are more positive. Not only that, but I feel like I have more knowledge about Jainism, and attending Alok's class. And Jainism is our belief, and it's what we base our everyday life on, which is another thing we've learned. And it's an important aspect of all of our lives, and it's what defines us. And we're very pleased to say that we've learned so much about our religion, which we barely knew about when we first came here.
For me, Jainism has really affected me and made me a better person. When I was younger, I chose to be closed off and not make any friends. I also was easily offended and didn't know how to handle it, so most of the time I would try to hurt the other person emotionally and physically. At the other moment, I took classes that I wouldn't even try to learn, so I would always fail. Ever since I took Alok's class, I've learned to control my anger and feel more satisfied with my new self. I'm a lot more happier
And she says that before she started attending JVB, she didn't know much about Jainism or why she even believed in it. But after being part of Allah Uncle's class and learning everything from him and some of his and Gyanshala and teachers, we can apply what we've learned to our day-to-day lives. We've learned that just the basics of principles of Jainism isn't what makes us a Jain. Truly calling ourselves a follower of Jainism is if we believe what we have been taught and if we put it into real life. And for Anusha, it's really coming to Allah Uncle's class has helped improve her mood greatly, and she's also been less stressed. She feels less relaxed and she doesn't argue as much with others. And improving her mood has also improved her productivity. She finishes her work on time, and by applying everything what she's learned to our daily lives, we practice Jainism, all of us, and we're demonstrating that we are a true Jain. And to all of us, Jainism is not just a religion, it's a way of life and an art of living.
So the summary of this lesson is, Jainism is a set of principles. Religion is adopting those principles into your everyday life. Jains try to lead their lives to the universal principle, respect everyone's opinion. We don't have any right to hurt anyone, such as vegetarianism and non-violence. Limit your desires and your boundaries. You should reduce your attachment, and that will make you a true Jain. Jainism is a way of life and an art of living.
And lastly, we want to play a little bingo game to test your knowledge again. We know that we've gone through all the information at least twice. We went over it, and the previous group has went over it, so you should get all the questions right. So we'll begin by passing out paper and pens. So the first question is, how many drummers are there?
Six.
Okay, go ahead. Just don't. We say, okay, so if everybody finds an answer, we set that one. And mood changes based on your blank and blank.
Huh? Yeah? What is
Mood changes based on your blank. Yes, actions.
सब में नहीं होगा ना सब में
Not everybody has all the answers.
Not everybody has all the answers.
So Bhagya bhi hona chahiye.
Okay, so our answers are written in what language? Prakrit.
Dharmastakai means
Dharmastakai. Yes, medium emotion.
And I like your answer when you said next time. That was good.
So yeah, so we found the winner. So we'll come around to select your paper while the other team gets ready.
I realized that I should have introduced, both the groups have talked about this mood meter. I should have mentioned something about to you at the beginning, so let me do that now. When we started this class, when we started this session with them, I wanted to give them a tool that they could use to see how they are doing. So what I asked them to do is draw a graph as a function of time for one day, in which I wanted them to plot the swings in their mood during the course of the day. So first couple of classes, we just did, each student plotted their own graph of what their mood looked like during the course of the day. Then the next class or two we spent on asking them to look carefully about what caused the mood swings to occur. When the mood went good, what happened, when it went bad, what happened. And that was used to relate it to the kashayas that they were feeling. And then we got on this path of what kashayas are and what Jainism is all about. So that's why we're using the term mood meter. And I said, just remember the very first graph of mood meter that you plotted, and as a function of time, look at how your mood swings are changing now. Because if the variance in your mood has reduced somewhat, that means the Jain principles that you're applying in your life are in fact working. If it hasn't changed, it means you just memorize it and you're not using it. So that's what they're teaching you. Okay? So now we invite the third group, and that third group is Akshay, Neha, and Ashish.
So today we're going to present to you what we think Jainism is, what Jainism isn't, and what it means to us.
What Jainism is. We are born as Jains for one goal. We are given this life to purify our soul with the three jewels of Jainism. Samyak Gyan, right knowledge. Being aware of your surroundings, that you are not the center of the world, and letting go of your ego. Samyak Darshan, right faith. Being able to correctly identify the truth from what isn't true. Samyak Charitra, right conduct. Using right knowledge and faith in all your interactions with other people. For example, being in a reactionary mindset, retaliation, and blaming others for your faults binds a lot of karmic particles. We need to get rid of this mindset and let in Samyak Gyan touch.
Most people believe that the more prayers you memorize, the more prayers you memorize, the longer fast they hold, and the more frequent meditation sessions they engage in, they'll be more in tune with their soul. These are the ways to do so, but only the person who understands the purpose behind activity. Jainism isn't purpose without practice, it is purposeful practice.
And now we'll be sharing with you how we apply these principles in our lives. We'll share a scenario where we didn't apply to our lives, and now we're
Jainism has changed my attitude towards others. It changed my perception of how I view them because of the right knowledge. Example is when I play doubles in tennis, I have an overconfident attitude, and instead I should be more humble and more respectful towards my opponent because I know that the outcome of the game could be either way. They could have won or I could have won.
So before I used to blindly listen to my classes without any need for justification of whether it's right or wrong. I would only listen so I could repeat information on the test without any true understanding of it. With this method, I would barely scribe B's in my classes. But when I started applying right faith, Samyak Darshan, I could finally see some purpose to algebra or history or English. We are presented with tons of information every day. With right faith, we can make sure we remember the truth and see some purpose behind it.
In dance recitals, I would blame my partners for doing wrong steps and being off tempo. Doing this makes me overconfident and ruins my relationship with others. I should instead uplift others and encourage others to do their best.
Now here's a little story we made, and there's a little twist to it. We're going to actually ask you guys questions, audience, what you would do, like if you were in one of the character situations. So here we go. Raj is a poor miner who came across 3 jewels. He's very excited and went straight home to show his wife and kids. His wife said, "Such beautiful gems." She snatches the jewels, but immediately the 3 sons wail as if she had slapped them across the face. Her eldest son, Rishabh, starts to say, "Why does she not realize it is just a jewel?" So now, any volunteers? If you were in the mother's situation, how would you treat the jewels? In a possessive or unattached manner? Any volunteers? Any takers? Auntie?
Because I don't want to
Uncles over here? Anyone? Nico uncles?
She can do.
So if you were in the mother's situation, how would you treat the jewel?
I'm not going to be possessive about the jewels. These are the artificial beauty, which of course mirrors to give you a beautiful look. I will be in an unattached manner because for me, my son would be the person
driving under drugs.
Good answer. Good answer. So let's move on now.
The middle child starts to cry out, "Mother, these jewels don't belong to us. We should find out who their original owner is." Our youngest child, Norton, explains, "Why does she keep those jewels for herself and not donate it to any other poor mother in need of a dowry for their daughters, when our mother has a daughter herself?" The wife seems to have forgotten how to hear because all she could do was stare off at the luxurious jewels. If you were in the mother's situation, what would you do? What she did or what her son was suggesting?
Any answers?
Why always ask question to mother? Why not the father?
अभी मदर्स डे आया था ना मदर्स डे अभी गया ना
सच में
फादर डे आ रहा है ना तो गेट प्रिपेयर्ड
There's no wrong answer.
Gautam came up to his mother and told her, "Mother, do you not know? Today is the Matsuri, and we must perform Pratikaman in Samaya. Son, I must behold to giving up all luxuries of life. If I renounce talking for 48 minutes, how will I go to the neighbors next door about my precious stones? And if I give up touching for 48 minutes, how will I keep the 3 jewels safe from thieves and bandits and other housewives who fancy that?" The mother said. "On Samvatsari, would you do Pratikaman or protect the jewels?"
Okay, so explain why.
No.
You have to explain why.
Yeah.
I would do Pratikama because that's the day you say forgiveness. Since you committed a sin right there in that day, ask them to forgive you and do the right thing, which is returning to the right person or.
Now say this. If you were in another situation, you were that poor anyways, and like you have no other option but to take them, right? If you're that poor, would you want to stay that poor?
No, I would still not take it, knowing myself right now, because taking it, you are burning the karmas.
Good answer, good answer. Rishabh says, "The 3 jewels will help us financially, but there is more to life than money and fancy objects." What was said. "You will lose the love and caring family and replace it with lust. In this process of being greedy, you are eradicating all the good karma you have right now." Siddharth says, "Mother, none of this would have happened if it weren't for some past karma. Instead of idolizing what you have now, we must appreciate our father's good karma and revel in how lucky we are." So now, would you choose the 3 jewels over your family, knowing that you're in that present situation, that poor, lower class situation? So, any uncles now? Simple question, right?
Well, the jewels can be replaced later on some point of time.
Any other uncles? Back row over here, anyone? So it's a really simple question, right? Huh? Here?
Wife, but she is eager to keep and use her tools to escape from poverty. She goes inside to ponder upon her thoughts and what path she should choose, when she sees Lord Bobby waiting for her. Lord Bobby said, "You are blessed with the children you have, because everything is said is right." The wife responds, "But I want to find you sorry and necklace so I'm not embarrassed in front of the peers and feel superior. For all my life, I've been of the lowest class. Today I have a chance to say change that." Lord Bobby says, "Non-injury to all living beings is the only religion. It is the virtue of virginity. In happiness and suffering, and joy and grief, we should regard all creatures as we regard our own self, and we should therefore refrain from inflicting upon others such injury as would appear undesirable to us and inflicted upon ourselves. This is the quintessence of wisdom, not to kill anything. All breathing, existing, living, sentient creatures should not be slain, nor treated with violence nor abused, nor tormented nor driven away. This is the pure, unchangeable law. Therefore, cease to injure living things. All living things want their life. Desire pleasure and do not like pain. They dislike any injury to themselves. Everybody desires life to every being. His life is very dear. How will you respond to that? The Lord Bobby presents himself to you.
Would you have the ego of saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm this important, a Lord Monitor came up to me. So, any answers? That's important. Or would you actually take this advice? What would you do? Anyone? Death? So that was just to show, like, you know, how you take these principles and put it in your life. Now, here we'll be summarizing it. So after making this story and delving into the subject, the 3 jewels, we have come to realize that Jainism is very applicable in our lives.
Those people are very accurate in their day-to-day lives, letting others do mistakes and get frequent and pronounced mistakes.
Jain principles help us adopt a peaceful attitude and dull our moods. Jainism is more than just practices and prayers. It is a way of life.
Project, I think all 3 groups did an outstanding job, so let's recognize them all one more time. And as I said at the start of the program, this is the end of the Gyanshala for this year, in the sense that the kids have had their exam. So let me now invite Sarika to recognize those students who had the highest attendance during the course of the year. Sarika.
I know everybody is hungry here, but trust me, the kids will be very happy for the surprise. So you can wait for 2 minutes. Somebody wanted to recognize all the kids who had 100% attendance. So I would like to call over Anuji and we'll just recognize the kids. And this was really 100%. And if I've missed anybody and parents or kids feel that you all were here 100%, please come by, see me later. Okay? Sanemi. Rashu. Manya. Uday. goodie bags. And this is a motivation so that you'll keep coming to Gyanshala and learn over the summer. So next time when you come, maybe the first day if you'll know everything and you'll really practice, we will have some more goodie bags the first session. So please kids come to see me, and I think everybody else if you are hungry also.
You guys can keep your papers in hand here. We'll pick them up after.
मंगल पाठ, दोनों हाथ जुड़े हुए। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आलोक जी, काजल, जिन्होंने बहुत मेहनत की और बच्चों का आपने प्रेजेंट किया और आपने देखा बच्चों ने कितना बढ़िया प्रेजेंट किया है। और मेरे मन में आ रहा था कुछ बच्चे भी ऐसा अच्छा एंट्री वो हैंडल कर सकते हैं, कभी अच्छा प्रोग्राम भी करें तो बहुत बढ़िया कर सकते हैं। तो आपका टेस्ट भी ले लिया, लेकिन आपको भी बहुत बहुत साधुवाद, धन्यवाद, आप पास हो गए सर। दोनों हाथ जुड़े हुए, आंखें कोमलता से बंद, अनुभव करें पूरा दिन मंगलमय बीते। चत्तारि मंगलम, अरहंता मंगलम, सिद्धा
सिद्धे शरणं पवच्चामि साहु शरणं पवच्चामि केवली कन्नतं मम शरणं पवच्चामि विघ्नहरण मंगलकरण स्वामवेक्षुरो
Namaskar.